Do you need to track calories in order to see results from the gym? The answer is yes or no. It's one of those it depends. So there are a few factors that I'm going to look at which will determine whether or not tracking your calories will be beneficial to you. One of them is what your goal actually is. So if your goal is to improve your physique, so either gaining muscle or losing fat, then that's generally going to require some level of tracking, especially at the very beginning. And for this, the more extreme your goal is, the more closely tracking is going to matter. So the closer you get towards things like bodybuilding or high-level athletics, the closer that tracking your food intake is going to matter. However, if your goal revolves more around general health, then tracking may not be quite as important. For a lot of these type of people, I find that working a lot more with building better habits is going to be more beneficial. I'll also consider what your relationship with food is. So if you're someone who has a history of eating disorders, or in general you have just a more obsessive type of personality, then a lot of the times that doesn't really work well with strict tracking. However, there are other ways that you can track that aren't going to be quite as aggressive and won't necessarily trigger negative emotions. Things like dividing your plate, where you almost pre-portion out your proteins, carbs, and fats, or things like taking pictures of your meals so at least you have an idea of what your intake is like. And finally, how much stress or anxiety tracking is going to actually cause you. Because weighing food and tracking tightly can cause a lot of added stress. And chronic high levels of stress is going to get in the way of our goals, whether that's muscle building or losing fat or performance in the gym. In situations like this, starting with building habits or other forms of tracking, the ones that I previously mentioned, or just tracking a single measure, so typically something like protein, are going to be much better options for these people. So I think that tracking can be really beneficial, especially in the beginning when you don't really have an understanding of how many calories that you're taking in, or if you've hit a plateau and you need to recalibrate what your calorie target should be at. Having said that, I don't think tracking, especially tightly, should be something that you should be doing forever. As long as you pay attention, it can be a great tool to teach you how to eventually intuitively eat so you get roughly around the right amount of calories or the right amount of macros for you.